You ever look at a teenager and just wonder, how can they be so incredibly smart one minute and then do something so completely baffling the next? It's one of the biggest puzzles, right? But it turns out the answer isn't about rebellion or a bad attitude. It's all about biology, a brain that's literally under heavy construction. So let's get into it.
This quote from neuroscientist Dr. Francis Jensen just nails the idea we're going to unpack here. I want you to picture a brand new Ferrari. Powerful, fast, amazing engine, but the braking system hasn't been fully installed yet. That, in a nutshell, is the teenage brain. It's got all this incredible horsepower, but not nearly enough control to handle it.
All right, so let's dig into that idea, this central paradox of a Ferrari without brakes.
I mean, this is the classic scenario, isn't it? A teen can absolutely crush a physics exam, write a beautiful poem, or learn a new instrument with breathtaking speed. And then, that exact same kid might make a split-second decision that leaves adults just going, "What were you thinking?" The key thing to get is this. It's not a personality flaw. It's a temporary and totally normal feature of their brain's development.
So to really understand why this happens, we have to pop the hood and look inside. You see, the teenage brain isn't just a mini adult brain. Nope, it's a dynamic, messy, and totally fascinating construction zone that's going through a massive overhaul.
So, the brain gets built in a really specific way, from the back to the front. Think of it like a Wi-Fi signal slowly spreading across a big house. It starts in the back with the parts that control basic stuff like senses and movement, and then it slowly works its way forward. And what's the very last part to get a good, strong signal? The prefrontal cortex, right behind your forehead. And get this, that connection process isn't fully done until your mid-20s. Yeah, mid-20s.
And this right here, this is where it all clicks into place. You've got two main players in this story. First, there's the limbic system. Think of this as the engine, the gas pedal. In a teen, it's fully developed and firing on all cylinders. It drives emotion, the search for rewards, all that good stuff. And then, you've got the prefrontal cortex. These are the brakes. This is the part for reasoning, stopping yourself from doing something stupid, and thinking ahead. And in a teen, it's still under construction. So you have a massive engine with underdeveloped brakes.
And let's be clear about that engine. It's not just active, it's hyperactive. Studies show that when a teenager is feeling stressed or scared, their emotional centers light up with literally twice the intensity of an adult's brain. This is why something that seems small to an adult can feel like a world-ending catastrophe to a teen. Their emotional volume is just turned way, way up.
And here are the brakes, what you could call the brain's CEO. This part is supposed to manage all those intense signals coming from the engine. It's the part that should step in and say, "Whoa, hold on a second. Is this really a good idea? What's going to happen an hour from now?" But for a teenager, that CEO is basically still an intern who's just learning the ropes.
So what happens when you put this supercharged emotional engine in the driver's seat and the intern is trying to read the map? Well, you get what we call teenage behavior, which is so often misunderstood. Let's look at what this brain imbalance actually means in the real world.
Okay, let's bust some major myths right now. You think teens are lazy because they sleep till noon? Nope. Their brain's sleep hormone, melatonin, doesn't even kick in until around 11 p.m., 2 hours later than an adult's. It's biology. Think they're invincible and will just bounce back from anything? Actually, they're more vulnerable to stress, and their brains can get addicted faster and have a much harder time quitting. And the idea that your IQ is set in stone? Totally wrong. The teenage years are a critical time when IQ can change a lot.
And the stakes here are not small. This isn't just about embarrassing choices. Research out of Germany found that a staggering 62% of all deaths among 15 to 20-year-olds are from traumatic injuries. That powerful pull towards risk-taking, driven by that supercharged engine, has very real and sometimes tragic consequences.
So let's bring it all back together. This developmental mismatch is the key. It's why teens can be these absolutely brilliant, fast learners, but can also be terrible decision makers, especially when things are emotional or stressful. The Ferrari engine is just revving way too high for those weak brakes to get a grip.
But, and this is so important, this period isn't just about risk and danger. It's a total double-edged sword. The very thing that makes the teen brain vulnerable also creates an unbelievable window of opportunity.
The magic word here is plasticity. Teen brains are just incredible at building connections. They learn faster and more efficiently than at any other time of life. But it's also a use-it-or-lose-it situation.
The brain strengthens the pathways that get used often, like learning guitar or a new language, and it prunes away the connections that don't get used. It's literally customizing itself based on experience.
Now, because that brain is so moldable, it's also incredibly vulnerable to bad stuff. Things like chronic stress, childhood trauma, not having a stable adult connection. These experiences can put enormous strain on that developing system and can seriously disrupt the healthy construction of the brain, especially for kids in really tough situations, like foster care.
And this problem gets even worse because of something called adultification. This is what happens when adults look at a teenager and mistake their physical size for emotional maturity, forgetting that their brain is still very much under construction. And research shows this happens way more often to youth of color, leading to much harsher consequences for normal developmental risk-taking, especially in the justice system.
So, knowing all of this, what on earth do we do? Well, the beauty is that the science doesn't just give us a problem, it gives us a strategy. It's all about helping them build those brakes.
I absolutely love this metaphor. A teenager's brain is like a sprinter. It's built for speed, power, and short bursts. Our job as adults isn't to punish the sprinter for being impulsive. Our job is to be a coach. It's to help them train, over time, to become a marathon runner. Someone who can plan, pace themselves, and think about the long haul.
So how do we coach them? Well, here are 3 things. 1, act as their frontal lobe assist. Basically, you lend them your fully developed prefrontal cortex. You help them talk through decisions and think about what might happen next. 2, lean into rewards. Their reward-seeking brain responds way better to praise and incentives than it does to threats and punishment. And 3, create safe spaces for them to practice making decisions and even to fail, where the stakes aren't life-altering.
And here are a few more really practical ideas. We can push for later school start times that actually match their biology. We can teach teens about their own brains. That's so empowering. We can provide healthy outlets for that reward-seeking drive, like sports, art, or theater. We can even help them build skills by role-playing tough situations before they happen.
Ultimately, what all this science does is shift our entire perspective. Teenagers are not broken adults that need to be fixed. They are humans going through a unique, vital, and temporary stage of construction. Our job isn't to be a foreman yelling orders, but to be more like an architect and a guide, helping them build the strongest, most resilient brain they possibly can.
So I'll leave you with this question. Now that you know their brain is this incredible work in progress, a powerful engine just waiting for its brakes to be built, how will you help build the marathon runner of tomorrow?